Well, here we are, yet again. Not that I'm pleased to be here. I have a ton of other shit to focus on, believe me. The reason why I'm sending you this video, obviously, is because the situation is just ramping up beyond perceivable control at this point. You better know it yourself by now, because if you don't, I don't know what rock you're living under, but you gotta wake up. It's time to wake up. I'd like to believe that by now, you know what time it is. Now, the reason why I'm sending you a video and not some long, drawn-out letter text message, so you can see my face, you can hear my voice, the inflection in my voice, the way I'm expressing myself, you can see my eyes, and hopefully, maybe, you can take me a little seriously this time. Please notice that I'm 100% awake, lucid, aware, and not insane. Everything I've said will come to fruition from the last time I sent you a text message has, and more. The time to be in denial is most certainly not now. I'll say that. So now that you know why I'm sending you a video instead of the other means of communication I've utilized, I understand I just made a little stop at your front door last week. That was also for a reason. There was a good reason and purpose behind that. I hope you can accept it was not a threat. I need you to survive. I'll get into that in a second. And yeah, let's face it, my agenda and reasoning behind this is more or less 90% or more selfish. Excuse me, let's turn my radio off real quick. I'm listening to the local repeater. By the way, I'm not the only one talking about forming a resistance. I'm not alone. So, at least you know that there are people willing to do something about this when it goes completely south. So the situation is this. We'll use these two gentlemen's call signs. I will not give you their actual names. They are gentlemen I have served with. They were in my same unit when I served in the United States Marines. They've now moved on to bigger and better things, we'll just say that. One of these individuals is now stationed in the Pentagon, and another doing work so sensitive I can't describe it here. The call signs of these two gentlemen are Assassin and Diamondback. And these two individuals are very reliable and have been credible throughout the years as I've used them as a source of intelligence. I've been told that as recently or as early as December 15th, that our government, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and as well the executive branch, and all personnel thereunto pertaining, are fully aware that this was a deliberate release of a bioweapon from the Wuhan P4 or Protect Level 4 Bioweapons Laboratory, better known as the Wuhan Institute of Virology. It does happen to be owned, controlled, and maintained by the People's Liberation Army of China. It's a bioweapons laboratory. Make no mistake about that. Okay? Continue on. It was deliberately released from the said laboratory, like I said. It was done at this time, again, deliberately, to coincide with the Chinese New Year to maximize the amount of community spread that could be done. The Chinese Communist Party did this to kill two birds with one stone. If you reference my video from my channel, The Art of War, Is the South China Sea a Feint? I cover pretty extensively just the parts that matter, really, but the link is in that video description for you to read the entire speech yourself. Chinese defense minister back in 2010 said, we're going to do this. In fact, we've not spent money on building an army and a navy. We've devoted all of our energy and focus, in fact, to developing bioweapons. Because this is all part of the plan. Again, this is part of the plan. Furthermore, things are not going to return to stability from here. What you must expect, Alyssa, is that the store shelves will not be restocked because the supply chain's been disrupted. When the warehouses run out, that's it. If the CCP or the Chinese Communist Party did happen to get caught being deliberate in their actions, as they were, they did this so they could make it look like an accident. Their total population on the mainland is exceeding billions now. They have X amount of resources. They are a communist regime, and therefore they receive little support from outside nation states. Xi Jinping and as well his regime did this on purpose. Again, it was an attack on his own people to cull the population and make it more manageable, and as well, at the same time, to begin to conduct their attack here on the United States. Again, they did it to make it look like an accident. They chose now because they know they can't wait any longer. I mentioned grand solar minimum in the last text message I sent you. That is absolutely a thing. That is hard science. That's not psychic woo-woo. It's not anything esoteric I'm trying to show you or teach you. It's hard science. It's proven. You can't run from that one. Sorry. So what that means is the sun is going quiet. We're having less sunspot activity. Less sunspot activity means less coronal mass ejections. Less coronal mass ejections means less solar radiation reaches us. And when the coronal sheath, i.e. the shell around the sun, retreats in on itself, cosmic background radiation from the exterior universe and the cosmos at all begins to penetrate our atmosphere. And this energy wavelength of space, or vacuum, as you may refer to it, even though it's not a true vacuum. I don't have time to explain that to you. It's not important for this message. The key thing is, by about 2022, no later than 2025, we will be fully vested in what will resemble an ice age to us. The far reaches of the northern hemisphere will begin to have ice and snow glaciation packs that just can't be traversed. Whole cities and towns and states are going to be buried in glaciation. Famine. Famine's really the big one you got to deal with. Because once this coronavirus does its thing and fully kills as many people as it has, it's not going to kill all of us. In fact, I'm not worried about you getting the virus, even though we happen to be prone to pneumonia. It's what comes after. It's what's coming through all that. It's the knee-jerk reaction of our government, which is incompetent and moronic and, quite frankly, going to get a bunch of us killed in and of itself. In fact, I think the reaction that our government takes through all this is going to kill far more people than the virus itself. A lot of people are going to be starving soon in the coming days and as well the coming years. Things do not get better from here, Alyssa. The world you knew, the world you loved so much, the world you tried to cling so hard to, that you couldn't let go of, that you couldn't believe was ending. Well, it did. It ended. It ended when the year rang out. And this one here, it is the big one. And it's time, if you have not already, to start taking this very, very seriously. You're out of time. You're out of time right now. I told you to get a radio. Fuck that. Just forget the radio. By the time you get the radio, do you have a month to learn how to use it? I don't think so. So my suggestions to you at this point are going to be as follows. Actually, first let me finish up the situation here. China's desperate. They can't support their own population. Tons of their people are already sick and dying way before it came to this. They were willing to infect the whole planet to attack the United States. What China wants is our mainland. They want to colonize our mainland. Comrade Xiaoping made that abundantly clear in his speech, which I urge you to go watch that video. Again, The Art of War is the South China Sea of Fate. I cover that speech in length, and it is quite damning. You'll be quite shocked when you do read it. It's pretty scary shit. Because not only is it scary, but it's in your face. It's happening right now. It's breaking down right in front of you in real time. What they said they were going to do in 2010, they're doing now. This is a softening blow. This is just like what we do when we invade a country. We're the Marines. We're the shock troops. We're the invasion force. We're the first ones in. Our doctrine of attack is to reach you from over the horizon with a naval superiority. Before we reach your shores, we will launch fuck tons, metric fuck tons of Tomahawk Hawk missiles and naval gunfire bombardment from 5-inch and 12-inch cannons. Everything they got. And we're going to launch an air wing as well. We're going to fly fixed wing and rotary wing aircraft, over your mainland to soften you up before we send our troops in. And that's exactly what this is. The object is to first overwhelm our healthcare system. And then as our military and our government rushes in to save said medical infrastructure, our government and our military will then wear themselves out fighting this virus. And about 6 months to a year from now, China will invade. Chinese soldiers will be on our soil, Alyssa. Are you paying attention right now? Are you listening to this? Chinese soldiers are coming to kill us. Yes. And as well the Russians. Because you know they're coming when the power goes out. Our government is going to do everything it possibly can to keep the grid up throughout this disaster, naturally. That will help prevent civil unrest. Keeping utilities running will help stop us from losing our shit and starting food riots and things like that. But Russia's not going to have any of that. Now, here's where they come into the picture. They're going to launch a nuclear device over the northern portion of our country, between Canada and North Dakota. They're going to detonate it in the atmosphere. They do not intend to cause a surface blast with this detonation. In fact, they hope to cause as little damage as possible to the surface in doing so. The object is to utilize the EMP which emanates from it to cause a cascade subsequent grid failure, to make our power go out. When this attack occurs, Texas will be the only ones that still have power because their grid is independent from the rest of the United States. No, that's not Corona Chan. That's the oak pollen, which is something I think you transferenced over to me personally. I'll get into that in a moment. When Russia and China do this, this will begin the beginning of World War III. And mark my words, okay? You can roll your eyes at me right now. You can shake your fucking head. Who knows? Maybe you're even awake right now. Maybe you are taking me seriously. But I'm going to do everything I possibly can to keep you alive because I need you to live. Because if you die, I will die. I'll get into that in a second. Just let me cover real quick. The Dow. The Dow on Monday. Listen. I haven't been accurate in my predictions on this before, but I've furthered my education in this regard. Talking about economics, the fractional reserve banking system. I've gotten really good at it. I did predict the decline that occurred throughout last week. I did accurately predict that, and I was pretty well on the money, but I was off by about 500 points, actually, which isn't bad. So here's my next prediction for the Dow. And it's getting easy to predict what the Dow is going to do at this point because the government is insolvent and they can't keep it up. What you need to understand is that the Dow and the subsequent stock markets have been kept up. They've been floated this whole entire time for as long as I've known you and been talking to you through what's known as a high-frequency trader, which is a computer algorithm that buys up stocks that are getting sold off to keep the market afloat, to ensure the liquidity of the market. The added stress of this virus and the supply chain disruptions has made it impossible for the high-frequency trader and as well the plunge protection teams, which is literally from the Reagan era, by executive order of President Reagan, this was put into effect. We're talking about officials from the Treasury Department who every morning load up briefcases with cash and wait on the stock exchange floor of Wall Street. And if the high-frequency trader fails, they're the second and last measure of defense to keep it up. They open up the briefcases with cash and they buy up what is being lost. Both the high-frequency trader and the plunge protection teams over this last week, no matter what they have thrown at the market, has not been able to save it. It's going to get worse. Now, I noted that there would likely be a rally by Friday, which was this Friday. It happened the same day that Trump declared a national state of emergency. Ironic. And also note that the time that Trump decided to come out and make his announcement. That was the last rally. That was the last rally of the Dow. Maybe, okay, there's got to be some margin for error. Maybe there will be one more rally on Monday. My money, my bet, is that the Dow will decline once more, actually. I don't think there will be one more rally. If there is another rally, that's it. That's only one that's left. But when the Dow crashes either Monday, and I really do believe it will be Monday because that's statistical. Crashes typically occur on Mondays. 1987, they crash on Monday. Black Monday. That's what they call it. This will likely be somewhere between a 3,500 to 5,000 point decline in the Dow. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked to see if that decline reaches all the way to 10,000. And if it does, get ready, here they come. The troops, the MRAPs, and the tanks are going to roll out onto our streets. That's when the shit has officially, beyond measure, hit the fan. And as well when it is going to be too late for you. Seriously, Alyssa, by tomorrow, if you ain't got, if you don't look like this, okay? If you don't look like that, or that, or that, or hell, this. I'm not going to show you the firearms because I don't want to scare you. Or this. Because Miho, deadly little Miho, my Japanese sword, she's real. She'll cut your fucking head off. Not that that's being directed at you specifically. Just letting you know how bad my baby is, that's all. It's not likely you're going to make it. Now, the reason why I need you to survive, that pesky little lifelink. Now, when I died back in July, yeah, I died, but I was resuscitated. And what's ironic about this last experience is that, I don't really remember reaching the other side. I think they resuscitated me too quickly. But there's a little funny little joke for you. But yeah, I'm serious. I didn't see the other side that time. So for what it's worth, whatever. I came down with chronic pneumonia from black mold, actually. Who knows? It could have been Corona Chan way back in July. There's been a lot of reports that says this thing has been around and is older than we think it is. But I came into Morton Plant Hospital up in Clearwater, and I was immediately put in isolation. And by that night, I was brought to the intensive care unit. Hypoxia was setting in. I was not getting enough oxygen to my brain. I started hallucinating. No, they weren't visions. No, they weren't psychic visions or, Stuff like that. Nothing esoteric or occult there. I knew I was hallucinating. I knew I was dying. The world around me turned into an episode of Rick and Morty, and it was really fucking scary. I'm not gonna lie. And then I don't remember anything but waking up the next day, and I had a green armband on my wrist that said elopement risk, and I was effectively Baker acted because I attacked someone trying to leave. I don't remember any of that. They'll be surprised if MRAPs and tanks and troops are marching on our streets tomorrow. I believe we have maybe a little more time than that, but not much more than that. If you've been to the store recently, you've noticed that the water supply and the shelf-stable food supply is dwindling. My food pantry I showed you just now, I got started on that back in January when I saw this coming over the horizon. My sources told me, you need to be at alert right now. Don't fuck with this one. It's coming. There's no way we can contain this or control this. We're going to try and delay and mitigate as long as possible. All the king's horses and all the king's men, despite all their mighty efforts, could not, again, like I said, contain the virus or its effects. We managed to make it to the middle of March before we began to really feel the impact here. But now that that impact is being felt, it's serious. It's being felt. Now, when I died in July, when I was resuscitated and hospitalized, I really want to think, I really want to believe that you had to have felt that in some way. Look, this isn't about us getting together. This isn't about me, I'm in love with you, or even me about I hate you. Really, quite frankly, I'm indifferent towards you. But I cannot fail to acknowledge the fact that we are tied to one another. We are, Alyssa, we are. And whether we choose to be together or not is irrelevant. I need you. I desperately, desperately need you to reach deep within yourself and find the cunning that you possess and get on top of this situation. And if you have the means to bug in and sustain yourself where you are, then by all means do so. But please surround yourself with strong, capable men who will and can protect you. The soy latte you crawl into bed with every night ain't gonna cut it. I should have been made by him no less than 3 times bumping into him, and I wasn't. He does not have his head on a swivel. He does not pay attention to shit. He's not gonna see a threat coming your way. He failed the red test. Sorry. Quite frankly, I don't think he has enough dick between his legs to fuck you right either, but I'll digress. This isn't about an attacking you or him. I need you to survive. I need you to live. Because even if you do not think you are important, I know that I am. As much as I wanted to deny it, as much as I wanted to believe that my mother was crazy when she told me when I was 5 and 6 years old that one day you, son, will lead a revolution. I think we're finding out, we're discovering now, we see what's on the horizon, what's coming our way. This is absolutely the truth now. If there's anything that I am, may not be your lover, but it is definitely to be a warrior. It is definitely my purpose, it's definitely my destiny to get on the front lines of this and to fight back when it comes our way. And I'm deadly serious about that. Now, if you need, do whatever you need to do. Get weapons, get food. Look, here's your reason to get a weapon right now. I could find you where you're at, wherever you're at. I can knock on your door and come fuck with you, and you know that now. I'm an existential threat to you. There you go. There's your reason to buy a gun, and make sure you got lots of ammo. Got it? And stockpile. If you haven't been doing that already, like I said, if you have this week to do that, you better exercise every effort you have this week to do that. Find containers you can store water in, because I don't know when that's going to get lost either. We will lose the grid at some point. I'm just letting you know, we're going to lose the grid at some point, and this is the end of the world as we know it. Little by little, everything you knew is going to disappear. Everything that has disappeared already, that which is gone already, it's not going to come back. You better be saying goodbye to it now. You do what you need to do to live. Survive, Alyssa. You must survive so that I can make the difference that I'm supposed to make. And as for me, I promise to keep my head down. I promise to do the very best that I can to stay alive as well, in spite of the fact that I'm going to be engaging in acts of war. I'm good at it. Trust me. I know how to run away from bullets, dodge bullets, and get underneath them. And when it comes down to it, if it's my time to go, it's our time to go. But you do what you can to survive. I will do the same. I'm going to leave this channel open for you to ask me questions. Please keep our conversation in the line of duty. Please keep your conversation with me pertaining to questions as to what you should be doing and where you should be going. This is not an effort to reach you, to get into your space and become a part of your life again. I just need you to live. Thank you for hearing my message today, Alyssa. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I really do. I happen to be doing very well myself. I'm very happy. What can I say? I've got a mission in life again. I got a purpose. I'm doing what I like to do. I'm being a journalist. I know you wanted to be a teacher. I guess that licensing coordinator at Progressive is a bit of a segue. But I know you can and will have eventually one day what you want if you devote yourself to it. Quit giving yourself over to that fuck shit corporation, Alyssa. You deserve better. Come on. Go be the teacher you were intended to be. Because that is your destiny. You said it would happen, you're going to make it happen. All right? Me, I'm going to keep being the Marine. Like I've always been. And as well, thank you for the adversity you've given me. Now that the pain has faded and gone away, and I found the means to move on, I really truly feel as fearless and as unstoppable as I've ever been. And again, I thank you for that. It was the adversity that you laid upon my shoulders, the challenge that I had to overcome in order to survive and live again, that made that possible. I'm wishing you and yours the best. Even your soy latte you crawl into bed with every night. Him too. Tell him to put his fucking head on a swivel. Teach him how to use a gun. Something tells me he's your man-child and you're going to be looking after him, not the other way around. Look, I really wish you the best. That's all I got for you. I'm not going to establish any more contact with you from here. If you contact me, fine, so be it. I'll answer your questions. I'll help you out as best I can. I got my mission, you got yours. So let's keep it that way, all right? Vector 06 out.